Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for City Biz List. Welcome to our program today. And our guest today is Eric Levitt. And Eric is the managing partner of EML Realty. That's EML Realty. I guess best described as a commercial real estate investment firm. But Eric, welcome to our program. And I'll let you describe what EML Realty is rather than doing it for you.
No, I'd rather you do it. No, we're a real estate investment company. We own, operate, manage commercial properties. I've been doing it for almost 30 years. Started out in Baltimore and started out in the home building and residential land development business. Did that for many years, and then sold the company to a New York Stock Exchange public company in 2005, and then started to diversify out of residential development into commercial, and mainly commercial acquisitions. So in Baltimore, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Virginia, I owned a portfolio of about 50 properties. Combination of office, industrial, retail, entertainment properties, and had a few partners and built a pretty sizable portfolio that we owned, operated, and managed. And then I'd say about 6 years ago, made the full-time move down to South Florida. It had always been a part-time residence, second home, and decided to move as really for a lifestyle change with the family, for obvious reasons. And
right, I get that. Sun, surf, sand, and other things as well.
Yeah, it was really a one-year tryout. I had my youngest child was starting high school, and long story short, we said let's move into the house we have there full time for a year and see if we like living there full time. We've never done it, so we did, and I really wasn't clear how I was going to operate and run all my properties in the Mid-Atlantic while I was down in Florida, but I did do it for a year and realized I don't want to do it anymore. So basically, I spent several years selling off the assets in the Mid-Atlantic and started allocating that money into properties in South Florida. So I've been doing that full time for the last 5 years. I've got about 22 properties right now in South Florida, mainly industrial. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, I just found that the lifestyle's, better. And I just felt like there's a lot more growth opportunities long-term to be in South Florida for real estate, but also I want to be, I want to own stuff where I live and be able to be close to it. And it was just too complicated and for me to try to operate and own a bunch of properties not where I live.
So that's pretty understandable. And so now essentially you're doing the same thing. You're acquiring a real mixed portfolio of real estate properties. Just for our viewers' interest, Eric, share with us some specifics about maybe some of your higher profile properties. And then let's talk a little bit about your future and what do you hope to do? And are we talking essentially from Miami to Orlando, or, what geography is your bread and butter now?
I started out when I first got into buying properties in South Florida, being very close to home, which is Palm Beach and the Jupiter area, because that's where I live. And then I've gotten a little bit farther south down to Delray, which is, within the hour from where I live south. And I'm really working my way north of Palm Beach and Jupiter because the market's very hot down here for commercial real estate for a lot of reasons. But the big reason is the economy's booming here. There's lots of people moving here. And there's a lot of money that's from up north, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, where there's people now chasing commercial real estate down here. So the core markets, Delray, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Miami, are just inundated with people looking to buy properties. And obviously the more people looking to buy and the more money they have, it just drives pricing to a point where it doesn't make sense. So I'm kind of working my way north of Jupiter into areas like Tequesta, Hope Sound, Stewart, Port St. Lucie, Melbourne, Palm Bay, and I'm not quite into Orlando, but I'm just south of Orlando down to Palm Beach County. And that's where I see growth opportunities. And, I'm finding deals there that are, reasonable.
Can you mind sharing with us a little bit about some of your more recent acquisitions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really focused on industrial. I just retail and office, has always scared me a little bit, and mainly because they're very management intensive. But then with COVID and what's going on in the world right now, everybody's, online shopping. There's a huge need for distribution facilities. So, there's a big demand for warehousing. And it's also very hard to buy land and build buildings right now and make the numbers work. So, I'm basically finding older industrial properties that I can fix up a little bit and has some rent growth. And that's what I've been doing. And I'd say out of the 22 properties I've got now, I don't know the exact number, but I bet you 80% of it is industrial type warehousing, distribution. Distributions obviously is a hot thing right now, but also, there's so much activity in housing right now and construction, the roofing contractor, the landscaper, these people, the kitchen manufacturer, they all are the ones looking for space and needing more space. So, and those are always the tenants I've always liked to deal with from the past. They just don't require as much day-to-day property management and asset management. So I'd rather find an industrial building that's got one or two tenants, and that's it. When things come up, obviously you deal with it, but it's not like, the multi-tenant medical office building where you've got 30 doctors and, every day you're getting a phone call over, the trash can's full, or there's this, or the elevator light doesn't work. It's always, it's a different sort of mentality.
I guess if you're into, warehouse and flex space, there are only so many people who can give you a call.
Most of them do the work themselves. I hate to say, right. Hopefully none of my tenants are watching this, but they're just typically, they're just easier kinds of properties to operate. And for me, I'm trying to scale my portfolio and add to it. And the only way I can increase the portfolio and add more properties is to be able to have the time to spend on looking at new deals and not spending a lot of time on the day-to-day servicing of what I currently have. So an industrial gives me that ability. Once I get, I just bought a building in Palm Bay that's 100,000 foot warehouse. UPS is my tenant. So, they're in the whole building. They've been there for years. It's a triple net lease. So they're responsible for all the expenses and everything in the building. So not much for me to do. If there's a problem that they don't handle, they'll call me, but there's only so much, that goes wrong on a building like that. So if I can find more of those kinds of properties, it gets me to scale what I'm doing a lot quicker.
Eric, how do you find opportunities? I mean, of course, we have 100,000 plus or minus viewers to this program, and so obviously, if folks are interested, they can reach out to you. But just generally speaking, how do you get the word out there that EML Realty Partners is here and looking to grow?
I mean, you start out basically just networking. It's like anything else. You start meeting brokers who are in those markets. You talk to lawyers. You're looking at properties that are on the market, and you're going through bid processes on offering memorandums. I mean, that's kind of the quick way to get into it. But what I've done and what I did, I think I was successful doing it in Maryland, especially, was having a core group of brokers that know how I operate. And I would say 95 to 100% of the time I've gone to contract on a property, I've actually closed. I don't waste a lot of time, doing due diligence. I've done a lot of it before I've gone to contract. So, I've networked with a core group of brokers here, Palm Beach County, St. Lucie County, that know what I'm looking for. So a lot of times they'll find me deals that aren't even on the market. They'll knock on the door. They'll look at a building that looks tired and weathered, or maybe they know the owner's, older and probably is going to retire soon. So most of my deals I get, no one even knows about. They get to me,
Right.
and I make a quick deal and get it done. And then once you perform, why wouldn't the brokers come right back to you? They see that you did everything you said you're going to do, and that's kind of how I've gotten most of my business.
Well, I think that's a pretty good business philosophy for any business, right? Just perform well, and your word is your bond. And I know, having known you for a number of years, that's the way you operate. What do you hope that EML, let's say over the next 5 years, what do you want it to become? How much growth do you see? And what do you want it to be?
I mean, I think I'm just going to keep going, sort of at the same level I am now. I'm not looking to be the biggest owner of real estate in Florida or the biggest of anything. I just, I try to do 5 to 6 deals a year. I want to keep growing the portfolio. I'm going to strategically start adding some people to the team here. What I've been successful doing over the years, even when I was in the home building business, is trying to keep the overhead really low. I try to use as much third-party people to property manage, to do the accounting, to do the leasing, to do all the due diligence. And, I don't want to get bogged down with a lot of employees. I'd rather work with really good third-party companies that, are part of the team. And I almost feel like we're all partners together. And that, again, clears my head and gives me the time to just, nurture broker relationships, banking relationships, and mainly going out to find deals. And I just think, I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep doing it. But my guess is, I got another good solid 10 years in me to keep rolling here. And when I get bored and tired and don't want to do it anymore, I'm going to stop. But, I love the excitement of just, going after a deal and getting it and taking it to closing and, turning an average type investment into something, good, which takes work, and that's what I've always done. And I started with nothing, and I'm just going to keep trying to build this until I don't want to do it anymore.
Good for you. So Eric, just in closing, there will be a lot of bankers, realtors, brokers, investors, and so forth who will watch this program. That's who our distribution is. How do they reach out to you?
Well, the easiest thing is just to go to my website, which is, EML Realty Partners.com. All my contact information's there. The properties I own, there's an investment section that shows the properties I own. That's probably the best thing. Shoot me an email. My cell phone's on there. I'm 100% accessible. There's really, you don't need to get to anyone to get to me. Just email me or call me. And, I'm really good at getting back to everybody.
That's great, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, for sure.
You got it.
For City Business, this is David Nevins, and we've been talking to Eric Levitt of EML Realty Partners, based in Palm Beach County, Florida. You heard his story. If there's any interest in learning more, give Eric a holler. This is, again, David Nevins for City Business. Thank you all for watching.